Kennedy Center honors here in Washington. While on Capitol Hill, the scrutiny on those controversial airstrikes in the Caribbean intensifies.
That all of these strikes are unlawful. They're a form of extrajudicial killing.
Congress investigating that controversial double-tap strike in early September that killed 11 people, including 2 survivors who lived through the initial attack. Lawmakers who saw video of that second strike behind closed doors pushing for its release. While Democrats say the video shows an attack on defenseless survivors, Republicans say they saw something different.
It looked at one point like they were trying to flip the boat back over, presumably to rescue its cargo and continue their mission.
Despite the president last week signaling he'd be willing to publicly release the video,
whatever they have, we certainly release, no problem.
Hegseth this weekend was non-committal.
Whatever we were to decide to release, we'd have to be very responsible about, so we're reviewing that right now.
And defended the strike.
From what I understood then and what I understand now, I fully support that strike. I would have made the same call myself.
Admiral Frank Bradley, who says he ordered the follow-up strike after consulting with a military attorney, told lawmakers in closed-door testimony the boat was traveling from Venezuela to Suriname, another country in South America, and that the drugs were bound for Europe or Africa, not the U.S. That's according to an official and a person familiar with last week's briefing. The sources also said military aircraft overhead spotted the 2 survivors waving their arms. Despite Democrats arguing their killing was a war crime, a defiant Hegseth pledging more attacks.
We will keep killing them so long as they are poisoning our people with narcotics.
As American troops arrive in Puerto Rico for training. And it all comes as President Trump has said he might target drug smugglers by land, not just in Venezuela, but in other countries too.
We're going to start that same process on land because we know every route, we know every house, we know where they live.
Now, according to 2 U.S. officials and a person familiar with the congressional briefings, Admiral Bradley told lawmakers that U.S. intelligence had confirmed the identities of the 11 people on that boat and validated them as legitimate targets. Savannah?
All right, Gabe Gutierrez at the White House. Thank you. Quick programming note. We want to tell you about a special event in Washington tomorrow with Spencer Cox, the Republican governor of Utah, and Josh Shapiro, the Democratic governor of Pennsylvania. We're going to sit down with them at the National Cathedral in Washington. This conversation is part of its Better Way series. We'll be airing it for the NBC News initiative, Finding Common Ground. This will stream on NBC News Now tomorrow night. We'll have highlights for you Wednesday morning here on Today, but I hope you'll tune in.
Yes, certainly looking forward to that. Meanwhile, we turn now to the war in Ukraine. Russia launching a massive new wave of attacks over the weekend, even as U.S.-led talks to end nearly 4 years of fighting continue to play out. NBC's Molly Hunter joins us now with the very latest developments. Molly, good morning.
Craig, good morning to you. That's right. Massive attacks over the weekend targeting nuclear power plants and train stations. Now, this comes as the U.S. ramps up pressure on Ukraine to get a deal done. And President Zelensky is in London today, meeting with European leaders from France, Germany, and the U.K. in a last-ditch effort to strengthen Ukraine's hand in these negotiations. Overnight, Russian drones pounded the northeastern region of Sumy, injuring at least 7 people, according to officials, as emergency workers battled the blaze, evacuating civilians from this apartment building. As the massive Russian attacks keep coming, President Trump told reporters Ukrainian President Zelensky isn't ready to sign the U.S.-authored peace proposal.
I'm a little bit disappointed that President Zelensky hasn't yet read the proposal. That was as of a few hours ago.
Following 3 days of talks between Ukrainian and American negotiators in the U.S., Trump said he believed Russia is on board.
Russia's fine with it. Russia, I guess, would rather have the whole country when you think of it. But Russia is, I believe, fine with it, but I'm not sure that Zelensky's fine with it.
But Russian President Putin has made no sense saying in his nightly address he expects information about everything that was said by Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner when they met with Putin in Moscow last week. Adding he'd spoken to Trump's envoy and son-in-law over the weekend, calling it a constructive conversation, though not an easy one. The American president wants a deal and is tiring of the shuttle diplomacy, his eldest son taking questions in Doha this weekend.
But is your hunch that President Trump is going to walk away?
I think he may. What's good about my father and what's unique about my father is you don't know what he's going to do.
But as Russian attacks target key infrastructure, for Ukrainians facing a 4th Christmas plunged into freezing darkness, a dignified deal that ends the fighting without a full capitulation to Russian demands can't come soon enough. the weekend, we also heard from the outgoing American envoy to Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, who said they were in the last 10 yards of this process, so close, but he said there were two outstanding issues, sticking points, including territory that Ukraine may have to give up, and the fate of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Craig?
All right, Molly Hunter for us there. Molly, thank you.
A key